The absurdity of no steroid testing in a Pacquiao fight. Let's get into that next. Please like and subscribe. Help us hit 10,000 subscribers. Share on all forms of social media. Leave us a comment. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Tuesday Night Fights. Shockingly, there will be no VADA testing in the Pacquiao-Thurman WBA welterweight title fight on July 20th. Let's get into that because that's absurd. To let this happen, this is like saying we're going to have a home run hitting contest between Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire, and we aren't going to steroid test. We aren't going to have any VADA testing. You're encouraging them to cheat, right? Like, this is ridiculous. You're encouraging Pacquiao to cheat. Look, Manny Pacquiao's meteoric rise up the weight classes, right? From flyweight to 154, or 150 catchweight, where he fought Margarito. Caused everyone to think he was on steroids. It wasn't just Paulie Malignaggi. It was Teddy Atlas. It was countless others. Many, look at it this way. Manny refused the biggest fight of his career because he didn't want to do the drug testing. Right? The only reason why he didn't take the fight was because of drug testing. What does that mean? Well, it means he's cheating. It means he's cheating. He didn't want to take the test because it made him feel sick and weak for days. After taking the test, he'd feel sick and weak for days, he said. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. How many of y'all have given blood? Did you feel sick for days? No one feels sick for days. You don't even know the blood's missing. This is so absurd and so stupid. He said he was afraid of needles. Really? He has like 3 tattoos, and he's afraid of needles. Nonsense. Those are awful excuses. Manny Pacquiao was on steroids. Look, if I said to you, here, $50 million, $50 million, all you have to do is take the drug test and pass it, and you don't take it. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means you're guilty. And no, not guilty in a court of law guilty. No, not that kind of guilty. But guilty from like an actual intellectual standpoint. As like reasonably intelligent human beings, if someone refuses a test and they were paid the biggest purse of their career to take that test and they refuse to take it, what does that mean? What does that mean? Alright, think of it this way. Or personalize it. If your employer says, I will double your salary and promote you to president of the company, all you need to do is pass a drug test. And you say, no. What does that mean? It means you're guilty of sin. Just look. Let's be real. He's the biggest opportunity of his life, right? Like, if I said to you, I want to double your salary and promote you to president, that's what Pacquiao had on. It was double his biggest payday. It was $40 million or $50 million guaranteed at the time. This is back in 2010, 2011. To take the fight, all he had to do is take steroid test, and he wouldn't do it. What does that mean? I mean, he's okay. Obviously, he was on steroids then. I mean, that's not really intelligent. People just kind of accept that, right? Just like if your boss offered you a huge increase in pay and position, right? And if Pacquiao would have beaten Thurman, if Pacquiao would have beaten Floyd at that particular time, he'd have been the biggest name in the sport. He'd have been the king of his era. But he didn't want to take it because he didn't want to take the steroid test. A lot of people think he would have won at that particular time. I wasn't one of them. I thought Floyd would have beat him. But a lot of people thought Pacquiao would have beaten him at that time. All you had to do was take the test. And he wouldn't take it. So what does that mean? It means he's guilty. So to be real. It means you're on drugs. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what it means. So, it's almost comical. I mean, the amount of videos out there on YouTube of Manny Pacquiao on steroids is, it's common knowledge and common sense at this point that Manny Pacquiao was a steroid cheat. Look, as far as Keith Thurman goes, I'm not saying anyone is using anything, okay? I'm not. But law without enforcement isn't law at all. Remember that phrase. Law without enforcement is not law at all. If they aren't testing you, and I mean really testing you, VADA testing, then you're allowed to do it, right? Like if a cop doesn't pull you over in a 30 mile per hour speed zone unless you go 50, what does that mean? It means you're allowed to go 45. It means you're allowed to go 49. He's not going to pull you over until you go 50. That's what's happening here. He's without enforcing the law, there's no law at all. You're encouraging him to do it. Look, and we looked at Pacquiao in his last 2 fights, and I said something's up. Right? Since the Horn lost, he looks like a new man. He looks younger, more energetic. Those steroid allegations are showing all over the place again. And now this. And now he's saying, oh, you don't have to take the test. Why wouldn't he want to take the test? After the Batiste fight, and definitely after the AB fight, it looked like the 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao was getting better at age. Better than he was in the Horn fight. And that's absurd. The 40-year-olds don't get better. They don't. That's Zab Judah. Zab Judah just got beat by Cletus Selden at 41 years old. You don't get better at that age. So, I mean, it's just ridiculous to think that at this point, Manny Pacquiao would be getting better, and it's absurd to not make him take the test, especially when we know he's cheated in the past. I'm not saying he's done anything right now, but look, you don't let him not test. And I think this brings us to one other point, too, and this is another point. Look, Keith Thurman, this is nuts. For allowing Pac to get away with this is insane. Look, Keith Thurman's never tested. I have no reason to suspect Keith Thurman has ever been on anything. So why wouldn't you make him take the test? Right? Like, this forces Keith Thurman to be dirty now. Right? Like, if they're not going to test you, and you know you can beat the test, and now the other guy is probably going to cheat, he has an unfair advantage. So what do I have to do to make up that unfair advantage? I got to cheat too. Otherwise, I'm at too much of a deficit. That's the problem with juicing. You cause everyone else to juice too just to stay at your level. Look, and I also want to point this out too. This is also evidence that this is a simple cash out fight for Keith Thurman. He isn't interested in winning. He doesn't care. He's going to take the $10 million or so, and he's going to go retire to China or Japan or wherever he goes to play the flute and smoke weed. Okay? That's what's going to happen. If he really cared about the outcome, he'd make Pacquiao take the test. He wouldn't ignore it and say, no, you don't need to take the test. You don't need to do that. Right? Because he wouldn't want to give him the unfair advantage in what is probably the biggest fight of his life. But you know what it is? He doesn't care. He's taking the money, he's done. This is his last fight. He's cashing out. This will be the last time you see Keith Thurman in a boxing ring. He's been smart with his money. He's got plenty of money, apparently. This is it. He's taking the money, which is fine. But I want you to understand that Keith Thurman is only interested in getting that bag, nothing else. You think he cares if he wins? No, because if he did, he'd make Pacquiao take the test. Of course he doesn't. Of course not. Please like and subscribe. Help us hit 10,000 subscribers. Share on all forms of social media. For another edition of Tuesday Night Fights from Texas to the world, this is 3D Boxing saying thank you and God bless.
Enjoy 3D Boxing vlog videos? Show us some love by clicking the like button. Don't miss a tweet, post, story, or video. 3dboxingvlog.com is also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit the subscribe button now to stay inside the ring.